Welcome to this Healing Art of Deep Bodywork short subject video. I'm going to do a little bit of work on Ken today, and the subject is how to work on areas of the body where there's a great deal of pain, either acute or chronic, and how to work with a chronic condition that appears to be deteriorating over time. So I'm going to let Ken introduce himself and talk a little bit about what's going on in his body, and then I'm going to do some work on him.
Hi, I'm Ken, and the last 6 months I've had a lot of back pain, lower back pain, and sciatica radiating down my leg into my calf, sometimes farther pain, sometimes just back and forth. I've gone through many therapies, and I finally went to see a surgeon who says that in the x-rays I've got a slip disc, herniated disc, and it's causing continual pain.
So thank you. What I'm going to do with Ken is I'm going to do a little bit of work around his hips in an effort to relax and reorganize the deep rotators of the hip, as well as the abductors of his hips, the gluteus medius and minimus. And while I'm doing that, I'm sure we will encounter painful, very sore areas, trigger points in the areas that I'm going to work on. And part of the point of shooting this video today is to show you how to work with a condition like this. So let's get started. So whenever one is working as a practitioner into a body, into an area where acute or chronic pain is present, one of the first very important things that we have to pay attention to is moving slowly, moving very slowly. Part of the reason for that is to not overwhelm our clients with sensations of pain that may be produced as a result of the work. Another part is so that I can bring his conscious awareness very slowly into the affected areas, because a big part of any potential healing process is the increase of one's own internal awareness around an area that has been injured, traumatized, or has been experiencing chronic pain for some time. Often there's a movement of inner awareness away from areas of the body that are in pain because they're unpleasant, and because as living organisms we're designed to move toward pleasurable sensation and move away from unpleasurable sensation. So I'm noticing now that I'm moving into an area of the deep rotators of Ken's hip that feel very hard and very tight, and I'm aware through the increase in his breathing that that's probably a pretty painful area for him. So I'm just going to check in with him. How'd that feel?
Good.
Felt good? Did it feel freeing?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so the first thing that I notice is that from the inside, he's able to work with the sensations of pain pretty well. Now Ken, as I sink in, yeah, there you go. Now are you feeling some familiar sensations there, like maybe sciatic pain or pain up into the back or anything like that?
It sends it down the back of my leg.
It sends it down the back of your leg, just like the sciatic pain. Okay, so this is what I want. I want to work on the affected areas where exactly the sensations that he's experiencing when I'm not working on him, when he's in pain, where those are produced. I want to find those areas and see if I can soften and lengthen them. Now again, I'm moving very slowly, because if I move too quickly here, Ken's probably going to jump up off the table and lose interest in me working on him. And that's simply because the sensations of pain will be overwhelming and just too much for him to tolerate all at once. So I got a very nice shift in the deep rotators of the hip here, and just so that I can vary my approach, and again, not overwhelm him, I'm going to move into the abductors of the hip here, the gluteus medius and the gluteus minimus, just above the greater trochanter of the hip. And I'm going to let myself fall with gravitation into this area. Again, Ken, as you feel the sensation get intense, I want you to let me know what it is you're experiencing, okay? If you get referred pain into your back or down your leg, okay? Feel that in there?
Yes. Feels like it's coming
Okay. Side. Coming up your side, into your rib cage, into your back,
towards the rib cage.
towards the rib cage. So you see we're getting a lot of referred pain in these areas. Telling me that they're involved in this whole network of pain in his lower body here, around his lower back and his hips and down his legs. All of this stuff is involved somehow. So you see I'm working very slowly. It's obviously quite intense for him. So I work slowly and I stay in contact with him. What makes my work much easier is that Ken doesn't appear to be afraid. He doesn't appear to be afraid of his pain. So there's no work that I need to do to separate anxiety from physical pain here. When emotional fear and physical pain combine, they create more than the sum of their separate parts in terms of the complications of undoing the blockages that can arise in the body as a result. How are you doing? Is that pretty intense in there? Is it feeling all right? Good. So I'm going to move back to where I was just working. These techniques are going to be taught in our Deep Bodywork 5 class. Sometime early next year in 2009 at the Esalen Institute. There we go. How's that right there? It's going down the leg. So again, I've got a hold of the sciatic portion of this problem right here in the deep rotators of his hip. And I'm moving very slowly. And I'm watching for signs of Ken gathering his body in other places in a defensive maneuver to kind of avoid whatever painful sensations are arising here. And he's not doing that, which is great. It really makes my work that much easier. So he really has a very developed capacity from the inside to work with this type of work in a way that makes it much easier for me to do what it is that I'm intending.